Мы начинаем в ровно или пораньше?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Grand Prix Berlin, FIDE World Chess Grand Prix 2022. Today, I want to say, is the last day, but not necessarily, only if one of those two players wins. Today is the last classical game to be played in the first stage of the Grand Prix cycle. Last classical game to be played in Berlin. Same players, Levon Aronian and Hikaru Nakamura, game 2 of the finals. Aronian will have the white pieces. Well, nothing has changed in the tournament hall. Same players, same routine. Nakamura sitting before the game. Levon will arrive perhaps like last seconds. But we do have a slight change in the commentators. While I'm here with you, start to finish, but today I'm joined for the first couple of hours broadcast. I'm joined by Daniil Dubov. Honestly, I don't know how to announce Daniil properly because, one of the players. So, I cannot refer to him as the commentator, that's I'm sure. Right, one of the players from Berlin. And okay, we'll talk more about that. Daniil is supposed to be here with me. I don't know. Yeah, okay. Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, it's all right.
I can't hear you for some reason.
Okay.
Okay, that's better.
Now it works, huh? Okay.
Yeah, that's better.
I'm not yet a professional streamer, so only learning on the fly with all these smart microphones and stuff.
Yeah, okay, so we can take it as far as a professional chess player who's forced to stream, and then professional streamer who is forced to play in the final, in a way.
Yeah. It's pretty much correct, actually. The way Nakamura plays here is very, very impressive. That's true.
Yeah, and not only this, but like in every single interview, I believe, or every second interview, he keeps saying that I have no interest in kind of classical chess, the streaming pays better, I'm a streamer, I'm retired. And it's a very comfortable spot to be because no big expectations, from the fans, and also perhaps you can comfort yourself this way. Like, okay, I'm a streamer. If I lose, I lose. I don't care, right? But if you win, that's of course a huge boost. So the game has started.
Is clearly plus a V, of course.
The game has started. E4, E5. E4 from Levon, not necessarily a surprise, but yeah, he plays a lot of E4 lately. It's still like I'm old. Levon is one of the oldest. Was he the oldest player, by the way? Yeah, no, Shirov was the oldest, obviously, right? But one of the oldest players in the tournament. And I'm used to D4 Levon for years, right? And then whenever he plays E4, even though he does it for like 5 years already or something, I still feel like it's a bit of a surprise, which isn't the case.
Yeah, but the fun part is that it's not exactly E4 or D4 anymore. It's basically it's London system or Italian. Like I was actually preparing against him. This time it's funny. Like it's either D4 bishop E4 or E4 bishop C4.
Ah, so you play the pawn and then you develop the. I mean, that's the recipe. You play the pawn, and then the bishop goes to the fourth rank.
Yeah, exactly. It kind of makes sense. Yeah, this bishop B5, bishop G5 is a bit too far. Yeah.
Yeah, because you would expect after E4, E5, Levon. I mean, he's one of the perhaps biggest experts. It won't be exaggeration. On the black side of E4, E5, right? So, like the real Lopez, he has played Berlin in his life. He has played a lot of Marshall, like an awful lot of Marshall. So you would expect him to have an idea where you could try to press with white. But maybe the state of the theory is such that there is nothing whatsoever. I don't know. You're probably the right person to not to agree with me on the state of theory.
No, I think it's just about the engines. With engines being that strong, we are all like really scared about being out-prepared. And like if you go E4 bishop C4, it's like most probably bishop C5. Then you go C3 D3, you will survive. And if you go bishop B5, then there is like a billion of lines, and all of them are basically a draw. But it's not even necessarily Berlin. Yeah, but in this Italian, you can basically predict this exact position, for instance, that we have on the board now. Is that, yeah, I mean, normally that's what they do nowadays. They play D6, A6, bishop A7, or A5, bishop A7. And then somehow you get a game at least. I think now it's, like all these engines changed very, very much, even in terms of, like opening choices. It's not even about the, like, evaluation or the openings being good or bad, but it's just about the, yeah, the number of choices, I would say.
Yeah, so, but you know, out of the two players in the final, I would argue that it's Nakamura who has to be, I don't know, scared, but has to be aware of chance being out prepared, right? Because the guy he's streaming most of the time. Is he really working on theory? Is my question. I mean, obviously he does till some extent, but yeah.
Yeah, but it takes way less time, I would say. Now it's like I'm a lucky person. Yeah, I was involved in the prep for 2 World Championship matches, which is clearly a great experience, and I can sort of compare. Like when we played Fabi, it was like. I mean, really tough, like engines would make a lot of mistakes and so on. But this time it felt like basically just give me, I don't know, like 4 laptops and 2 weeks. And it will be it, like I don't need really more. I mean, also some of the brilliant ideas we found for Fabi now are shown within like 2 seconds by the best engines. So I think in general this is actually good for streamers. Yeah, like 3 years ago it would take you 3 weeks to prepare the Berlin for Berlin actually, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now I think it just takes, I don't know, like 2 days, maybe 3 days. It's,
yeah.
It's way less stressful and so on.
So where is it all going, Daniil? I mean, with engines constantly being better and better, and therefore perhaps human interference with engines going kind of taking less and less part, because I still remember those times when I would say it would be 50-50, right? So you generate ideas, you feed it to the machine, and then you check like what machine has to say about it, or you look at machine ideas and then you still were able to question, like put the position on the board on wooden pieces and think, and maybe sometimes you would find something that machine doesn't show. Now, I don't know, what's let's say you are working with the best computers, with the best players, what's your role kind of?
No, it's basically like it's gone, like your role is, I mean, first of all, sometimes you can still find some ideas, some like what they used to call human ideas, right? But
yeah, absolutely.
Like if for Fabi we had like two dozens of them, then this time it just became, I mean, it's not that we were readers. It's just that most of the good moves are shown by the engine. I would say your role is actually to choose between like this 0-0-0 and that 0-0-0, where your opponent has to play like more only moves. You need to choose a line where it feels like it will be more difficult for him or easier for him. And yeah, I think in general it's also completely insane that we play with this very strange time control as well. It's like, in my opinion, in general, I'm team classical chess, but it's just like, in my opinion, it's basically even longer time controls than people played in like all the Soviet championships and stuff, because it's like normally 50 years ago people were supposed to spend it for like, I don't know, 35 moves. Like you go e4, knight f3, bishop c4, and you start playing.
Yeah,
And now, I
absolutely.
mean, and now sometimes basically you bang like 30 moves and then you have like these 2 hours to play 10 moves, which is completely insane, and it has never been that slow, to be honest.
Yeah, that's interesting point, exactly, because some people don't understand, and they're sometimes even complaining that back then people had more time to think, but they would start think. I still remember like fantastic opening preparation, right, described in an old book, and that would be, I don't know, move 7, novelty on move 7, and the guy had
exactly.
next couple of moves analyzed. Right,
yeah, exactly. No, but even like you don't need to go that far. I even remember like the start of the century, it was like, I don't know, like you play, for instance, Rui Lopez, he plays Berlin, you go d3, d6, okay, now we get a game, okay.
Yeah.
Now I go c3, it's a sharp position, white is probably slightly better, let's play game. So my point is that basically, let's say now if we would, I mean, if we would play, let's say, something like 90 minutes plus 30 minutes after move 40, and with 30 seconds increment, my point is that basically, like, by move 20, we would normally get to exactly the same situations that people would get, like, having way more time back in Soviet times. It's just, I mean, yeah, they had maybe, like, extra 40 minutes, but they had to play, like, extra 10 moves, or 12, and that's exactly where you get. Because nowadays it starts to feel weird, like you bang all the moves, and then yeah, finally some new thing happens, and you have like 2 hours to figure out two details pretty much. So yeah, it's a bit strange.
And I can tell you from commentator's standpoint, and I believe from we commentators more or less represent the crowd, right, from crowd standpoint. When you guys play some sharp lines very quickly, we as the crowd, we expect you to continue, and then, bang, new move, and then one guy thinks for 40 minutes and the other guy thinks for 40 minutes as well. And then if I'm not like a professional chess player so that I can understand what he's thinking about, I'm kind of losing interest at that point, right? I mean, if I'm just a beginner and I cannot figure out what goes on in the position myself, right? I don't understand why you were playing fast moves, then you stopped. I'm like, okay. So maybe an idea of making time control, I don't know, more dynamic. I have no specific suggestions, right? Rapid is rapid, classical should be different, but yeah. You have your point that sometimes those games look really strange.
Yeah. Wait a second.
Okay, and as the crowd was aware of Daniil's appearance, I believe we have some questions on Twitter, and let me browse and see if there are any serious questions. Questions to Daniil, obviously. Some of them are not the ones that should be read on air, but
yeah, but the fun part is that also, like, nowadays with this prep, actually, is the fun part if you get out prepared, and, like, let's say you don't know what's going on, but he keeps banging moves, and you just think for like 15 minutes, you choose something and you play a move, and he plays instantly. You think like, okay, fine. Then you play one more move, he plays instantly, okay, fine. And then you play and he starts to think, and you realize, okay, now I'm probably dead.
Yeah, that's a known thing. Yeah, and also,
yeah.
yeah. Also, like I was thinking, if you keep guessing the moves, right? I mean, so I mean, you spend time, you play, he plays immediately. That means like your move is analyzed and probably good, right? Because nowadays nobody analyzes kind of bad moves because you simply don't have enough, I don't know, brain power, right? You just remember that, okay, he's supposed to do this and this. If he doesn't, then his position is bad. I will have to figure out at the board, right?
Yes, that's exactly how it works normally. Yeah.
Yeah, but what I wanted to say that, like, if you are in this situation that you are guessing the moves and your opponent plays fast, I remember like this feeling that at some point you're not actually playing the position, but you're playing this weird game of guessing what will be, which next move will be correct. So sometimes you cannot kind of look at the position unbiased, right? So you look at this move, at that move, you try to calculate it, and also you are starting to think. But like this look more like an engine move, so maybe this is correct, and then the other is not.
Yeah, but now, in general, it's... I mean, it became way less about chess, it's very much about the memory. Like, for instance, when we played this group stage, I was actually in the same group that Aronian was. When I played Camera, like, we played exactly, I would say pretty much exactly the same kind of games with colors reversed. Like, when I was black, I played some Slav, and like, I mean, out of the blue, he played some... I don't know, line he never played. And then he banked like 27 moves, which I sort of knew, but I failed to recall. And both we knew that basically if I make a mistake, then black is lost, sort of. Or at least much worse. And then at some point, okay, I played the move and I finally failed to recall and find the right one. And he started to think. And I was like, okay, now I'm clearly lost. And then I, like after the game, I checked, yes, it is +3. Now that we're humans, okay, then we got a game and I somehow managed to survive. And then when I was white again, he played this Caro-Kann with like 3e5, and he played this very sharp line with c5, queen b6, queen takes b2. I mean, again, everybody knows it's technically a draw by force, but it's very likely that you will fail to recall the right line. And again, I mean, I played something a little bit surprising, which was still 0-0-0. Once he started to think, both we felt like, okay, now it's... It's like almost a penalty, yeah? Chances. So yeah, that's what it. I mean, that's what it became.
Yeah, it's kind of a competition of recalling like long and sometimes weird looking lines. Yeah.
No, it just feels like in general the strengths in chess it became a completely different thing. Like it's. I mean, it's about your. I mean, how many lost positions you will save for tough positions?
Or maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how often you will win a completely winning position? Like, will you win 100% of them, or only 80? So this is the strength. It actually becomes a bit of the engine's competition, you know, because when they play, they don't play the starting position. Yeah, it's way too dry for them.
Yeah.
They normally start with some 060, 070, and then they count who will like win more often and defend more often. And that's a bit. I mean, that's a bit about this high-level chess nowadays as well. Like first, there is a prep competition. Like if you were both good enough, then there will be no game. And then if someone wants this prep competition, then you'll get a game with this like weird terms. Like one guy is free rolling and another guy is trying to survive. But in 2 days, the roles could be switched. Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking of this line that came played against you, the Caro-Kann, right? And I thought it starts more and more, it starts to resemble the poison pawn in Najdov. So it's in a way kind of poison pawn Caro-Kann. Yeah. I mean, the scenario is pretty much the same. You play one wrong move, you lose.
Yeah, it is. But let's switch to something optimistic. Actually, like all the talk had nothing to do with the game today. I think today is just something very playable. Probably solid, but at least it's clearly. I mean, both players are kind of satisfied with what happened, and now we'll get a game finally. I must actually say, like especially nowadays, it's very inspiring to see people somehow getting games going, like Nakamura does, for instance, in this tournament. Also, Levin though was actually very well prepared. like let's say against Dominguez, he basically, this was exactly the scenario I described. Yeah, with White, I mean, okay, he clearly out-prepared him, and then okay, when you start to think in a very sharp position against Levon, and Levon has it all prepared, and you have like 30 minutes against 90 minutes, it's clearly a very bad scenario, and there's no surprise that Dominguez lost. But in general, both were playing very inspiring chess. Nakamura especially, actually, I would say, it just felt like he's almost freestyling. Like there were no like super big ideas as White from him, yeah, and he would just go play something and outplay guys like Rapport or Yesepenko, which was quite impressive, actually.
Yeah, Naka played very well till that point, indeed. Yeah, can we say something about this position? So up to bishop a7, as far as I understand, it's absolutely usual. Knight a3, one of the I don't know if the moves in this position, but one of the ideas nowadays.
Yeah, well, in general, it's I mean, it's all about some small nuances. Like, for instance, the normal plan would be to maneuver the knight to e3 via d2, f1, and then e3. Like, the point of what White is doing is he's trying to save a tempo on rook e1. Like, if you play knight b1 to d2, then you need to play rook e1 as well to get knight f1, knight e3. And yeah, the point of this knight e3, knight c2 is that you basically, after playing bishop e3, takes, you sometimes you don't need this rook e1 move, and maybe sometimes you even consider some f4 ideas like long term. In general, I think what White got is pretty much what you should be dreaming of in the Italian, but it's clearly, I mean, it's saying more about Italians than about your dreams. Yeah, it's clearly not that much still. Also, I think, like, as far as I know, it's better for Black to have his pawn on a5, and it's better for White to have his pawn on a5 as well. So, like, in terms of logic, there could be something concrete and so on, but I think in terms of logic, a4, a5 should have been prevented somehow. At least that would be a better scenario for Black. And normally when White gets a5, then it's, I mean, it's kind of a decent scenario. Black will normally go d5 at some point, and White will not react, and then we'll play.
Yeah, so what I was told by kind of clever guys that I always have a question in these positions, like bishop e6 and take with the pawn, how good/bad it is, right? And what I think Peter was explaining me, Peter Swidler that is, that when you have the pawn on a5, when you kind of got some space on the queen side, it's kind of clearly good for White, and if black pawn is on a5, it's less good.
Yeah, exactly. I think basically with black pawn on a5, it's sort of
normal. Yeah?
Like
you can play.
No, it's more. It's like long term. You can say it's like long term positional draw, kind of. Like I try to play these positions against engines. Even sometimes you can survive still.
Oh.
Like it becomes really schematic. Like imagine black pawn on a5 and black knight on c6, and then we get bishop b6 takes. It's just in terms of logic, you just wait for d3, d4, and then you take, you go knight b4, then you play d5, and somehow you get a very, very decent range or something.
Mm-hmm.
But Naka, I think in general, his approach is different. He basically thinks, okay, I survived the opening, it shouldn't be like dramatically bad, okay, I'll just go play game. I'm a streamer after all, and so on. It's kind of different. I think he really believes in the way he plays, and rightly so, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So he even had slightly more time on the clock. I don't know what for. Maybe Levon was making his tea. I mean, I don't think it's unfamiliar position for Aronian. Bishop b3. Yeah. So what's next with black? Shall he go d5? And no, he doesn't go d5, he goes h6. So yeah. h6, rook e8, bishop e6 again? Or just h6?
Probably, yes, this Magnus thing, yeah. Yeah, could be. Like this is actually the way Magnus plays these positions. Like always, whatever happens, he always goes h6, rook e8, bishop b6. Like even if your file says exactly the opposite, I don't know. Okay. This looks a bit too good.
Yeah.
But the problem is that somehow, like the way I see it, like in general the point of people who play it as white is that basically like even when you get all of this, it's not exactly like completely comfortable. Yeah. So imagine if you can move the pieces here. Like imagine I go, I don't know, like g3.
Yeah, not on this board, regrettably. I mean, we will need our analysis board, and then yeah, if we can get the other view with analysis board, yeah, okay. So g3, for whatever reason,
yeah. Let's say rook e8. Like let's play like one more useful move somehow. I don't know, rook e1, for instance.
King g2.
Or what? Yeah, king g2 is good enough. Yeah, bishop b6. And then we take on e6 simply.
And
takes. And then you somehow play. I think you somehow play b4 actually. That's
a b4, okay.
Yeah, and then somehow you start like slowly getting this c4, queen b3, b5, rook b1, whatever. And it's actually like even when black goes d5, sometimes they just react with something like queen c2, and then you play c4 next, and again it's a weird sport for black because like d4 you don't really want to play.
Yeah, so something like that, c4, and black doesn't know what to do next, right? Because d4, what? Okay, in this case knight f5 maybe.
Yeah, but in general you get some prospects on king side then, yes, some long-term f4 plans. Yeah, and also if they. Yeah, and also exactly like even if they pass, you can sometimes just play c5, knight f5, or you can play ed, cd, c5, swapping the whole queenside like structure, and so on. So it's not exactly. I mean, of course, it's not much, but at least I like started to get what they want recently. It's not. Yeah, I mean, it's not yet equal. Yeah, I mean, if you can choose a side, you definitely take white. It used to be way less clear to me at some point, but yeah.
Yeah.
And this is actually, by the way, this is actually one of the reasons why you need your pawn on a5 as black. Like with the pawn on a5, it would be completely nothing. Like there will be no b4 whatsoever. Yeah, you would always take simply. So yeah, I think what happened is kind of nice for white.
Yeah. Okay. Then I have a question. If black doesn't play any kind of d5, yeah, if he doesn't exchange, wait, well, what to do then, right? If he doesn't exchange on e6, that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, but then you somehow start running out of moves, right? It's
yeah, like this kind of things. You always, what you do if I want to trade the guys like that, like knight g4. I don't know what white does. We were playing g3. I don't know how serious was that, because maybe knight g4 is.
No, but I think you're fine with actually allowing knight takes c3 if we. Wow, Levin played bishop c2 actually, which kind of.
Bishop c2.
Which kind of makes us look foolish.
So that does it mean he wants to play d4 because or b4, maybe b4 just.
Yeah, but for b4 you could also play bishop a2, yeah, if you really want.
Yeah, if you want the bishop to just move the bishop away, then maybe bishop a2 is kind of a...
No, he clearly wants to play d4, and let's say if he gets it, I can sort of understand it. But what's wrong with d5?
d5, can it be? No, d4. No.
No, they normally react in some weird way, like he takes d5, c takes d5, d4, I guess. That's what they sometimes want. e4, knight a5, and then you somehow get f4, go bishop b3 back, and like pretend your pawn structure is good and d5 is weak and so on.
Yeah. Okay, this actually might be true, because not clear what black has to do, like knight f4 maybe. Yeah, maybe knight f4 here.
Yeah, but then you just go f3, yeah? I think you're just much better.
Oh, yeah. So it's tricky.
I think I think in general, white's strategic idea is to, like after this knight e5 in general, in this kind of positions, you basically need to trade e4 pawn for f pawn, and then you're much better because d5 is weak. But yeah, something was just played. Rook e8 was played. Yeah, Naka plays it like a blitz game. Yeah, why not to go rook e8 indeed?
So rook e8, stopping d4 for now, or rather stopping d4 and then e takes, c takes, right? Because the pawn is hanging. White can do what? Queen b1 is too clever, maybe?
Okay, first of all, we can still go d4 and take with the queen.
D4.
It's not something I like, but yeah, queen takes d4.
Yeah,
like
maybe.
if we have an idea after c5, then I kind of like it. Like if I play one more move like rook f to d1, I'll be happy.
Yeah, c5.
Yeah, and here I probably go like queen d1, and I take c4, and then I play knight c4 or knight d5.
So just to go queen d1. Okay. And if knight takes, some jump with the knight c4 and knight d5, and we hope for compensation, right?
Okay, after knight c4, we probably hope to get our pawn back, actually.
And maybe we are right on that one.
Yeah.
Bishop g4.
Yeah, but just I don't know, rook e1 and so on. Yeah, it feels like. Or maybe h3 even. Like in general, it's
something really confusing will be happening. Yeah.
Also, the one I like is bishop g4, knight e3, bishop c8. Yeah.
And back. No, but I'll take f3 maybe, and queen f3, knight d2. Yeah.
Yeah, but then some queen d5, knight f1, bishop g6. Yeah, but it probably works for black and Zend. Yeah. Or maybe not. Anyways, this will not happen.
This will not happen. Yeah. Have you followed yesterday's game?
Yeah.
Levon with Naka with Levon, because it was at some point it was kind of confusing the way he being Naka, yeah, like white, he probably misplayed the opening a bit. There was such feeling, and then he sacrificed. Now by that point I can say sacrificed the pawn, right? And he all of a sudden got winning chances and huge winning chances. Apparently was winning at some point.
Yeah, but to me it was probably lucky for me that I was following it without an engine, but actually when he sacrificed the pawn I started to like his position a lot. I thought in general it's clearly easier for white to play. I was pretty sure. I mean, I checked it later, yeah, it was like minus 0.7 or 0.8, but it's clear that it's it's white who plays like all the easy moves in the world and so on. So it was not exactly surprising for me that like at the end white was even pressing a little. There was also some brilliant tactics at some point by Aronian, yeah. Some people posted it on Facebook, I think. Like there was some whatever exchange sacrifice that was based on some really nice lines. No, in general, I must say these people are kind of proving me wrong, because they actually play very interesting sharp games, and it's not only the preparation battle. Yeah, rook e1 was played.
Rook e1. So that's pretty much what you've described. So black, unless he is planning to go d5, he kind of runs out of moves a little bit.
Yeah.
Because bishop e6 now already allows d4. Once again, I don't know how good it is. Bishop e6, say d4, takes, and maybe I take with the piece, in fact, right?
Yeah, I feel like you take with the knight probably.
Because
like
c takes d5, it's kind of the same, right?
Yeah, but still you get e5.
e5,
this is actually the difference. Like we have the same position with colors reversed almost, but here white is in time to get some b4. And like long term you stop this kind of extra pawn or whatever it is. Yeah, that's why you need your pawn on a5 as white. Like you stop the queen side at once, and then you just switch for some knight d2, takes, you get f4 one day, and
Yeah. So black's majority is completely immobilized in this case, while with colors reversed it would be, yeah, white would still have chances to demonstrate something.
The interesting part is that, like, now if you go d5 as black, let's say e d5, c d5, d4, e4, now there is no knight e5 anymore.
There is no knight e5, and also the rook is not on f1, so f3 kind of less efficient. I mean later on.
Yeah, but I still like it actually. You just go knight d2 and then you go f3. Like, the way I see it, I think white is just comfortably better. It's basically like, unless you're in time to attack h2, you're always worse as black. Like, once you touch this knight, c4 is always an option as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking of moving the knight away, going f5, but you know.
Yeah, but even f3, there is no f5 because of knight takes d5. Yeah, you're.
Yeah. This we have to show. Knight d5, and if queen takes, there is bishop b3.
Yeah. Actually, this kind of pawn structure normally. I mean, we normally get it from the what's called bishop opening or whatever, e4, e5, bishop c4, yeah? And then it's very often that black plays c6, d5 early on, white just goes ed, cd, and then somehow gets c3, d4, and black goes e4. And in that lines, by the way, it's very important that black has his pawn on a5.
Yeah.
So
okay, I can probably show it, right? Bishop c4, oops. Bishop c4, knight f6, right?
yeah, like
d3,
d3,
c6,
c6, yeah, knight f3,
d5,
d5,
bishop b3. Very often they would go a5 themselves, right?
Yeah, exactly.
a5.
But that's pretty much what I'm talking about. Let's say a5, I don't know, a4 or whatever. And then they play somehow, like bishop before check, for instance, I don't know, c4. Like, if you want to show this one, actually bishop before check is more obvious. Like c3, bishop d6.
So c3, not bishop d2, okay.
Yeah, and then sometimes they just castle,
and we have very similar position with colors reversed. It's pawns on a5, a4, right?
Yeah, but moreover here, let's say you go ed, cd, like bishop g5, bishop e6, d4, bishop e6, d4, e4, and then sometimes they even play knight d2 in these positions. Maybe they start with knight e3, knight b5. But in general, it's a basic idea for white to go d4, e4, knight somewhere, and then f3. And it's very important for black that his pawn is on a5. Sometimes you get rook a6 and so on, but it's still very playable for white, of course, but in the game, white has even better version, I think.
Yeah. Still somewhat of a mystery. What goes wrong for black that he seemingly does everything the same? Like, you develop the knight to f3, I develop the knight to f6, right? Bishop to c4, bishop to c5. And yet he ends up being slightly worse. So what's the problem? He didn't play a5, we can say, or?
Well, it's clearly about talking, but if you want me to come up with explanation, like, one of the explanations is that first of all you just lose tempest, right? Like, you go bishop c5, then bishop a7 to take on e3.
And then take, yeah.
Yeah. Also, your knight on g6 is not exactly doing much, especially after g2, g3 one day.
So this ever bad knight on, I mean, it's bad on c6, like in the Ruy Lopez in the Italian, yeah, because of c3 pawn, and then you move it to g6 and white plays g3 and it's still silly. Yeah,
like what I could never get is somehow, like, when black gets this knight g6, like, sometimes even when he plays d5, white plays g3 simply, and the knight is stupid, but somehow when white plays knight d2, knight f1, knight g3, I've never seen the scenarios that black goes g6 and is slightly better. Yeah, somehow it just doesn't happen. I also don't know why it's like a complete symmetry, yeah, but probably just move by move it never happens somehow.
Yeah, it's strange, but you're absolutely right. Like, and also we can take it further away. Like in the Ruy Lopez, we would never ever say that the knight on g3, like black oftentimes goes g6, bishop f8, bishop g7 in, I don't know, in Breya and this and that. And the knight kind of looks stupid on g3, but it never is stupid. And for black, and for black we reverse colors, maybe a tempo here, tempo there, and very often this knight on g6 is just an idiot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably just that, I mean, it's better to play white, yeah, if given a choice.
Yeah, I was thinking of, you know, repainting the pieces sometimes because like human perception often fails you, like we were discussing with Jesse. Same position, like what was, I think it was yesterday's game, like we were trying to make f5 work for Aronian at some point. It was looking like he was preparing to move the piece away and go f5. And then, let's say with black you play f5, and I remember especially like young years, I would play f5 in some sort of King's Indian or something, you attack the e4 pawn with f5, you feel like almost winning. With white, if you do the same, nothing special. I mean, so sometimes it's, you know, the color of the pieces matters for some reason, whatever.
No, it does, of course it does. No, this is actually one of the, I really hope I'm not like revealing something very important, but it's one of the favorite Magnus tricks, and actually mine as well. Like when you basically want to somehow, I don't know, make up your mind about some opening, you basically don't even analyze it because like it's clear that with Ascensions it will be like zeros pretty much everywhere. But you just, you just like imagine it's black to move in the starting position. And then many things start look different. Like for instance, if you get us back to the starting position.
Yeah, let me try.
Yes,
okay.
This is my favorite example. Like let's say e3.
Yeah, e5, e4.
e5. Yeah, e5, e4. Knight f6. Knight c3. Bishop b4. a3. Bishop a5.
I know
Knight
the
f3. yeah, but now wait, castles. And there are actually people who voluntarily here go b4, bishop b6, bishop b2. Which somehow looks like it could be just losing by 4 some. Knight g4 is almost like, first of all, it's clearly stupid because of d6. Secondly, some knight g4 could be just winning by force. There is also d5. Like it all looks, I mean, okay, you can play b4, bishop b6, bishop c4 maybe, yeah? I mean, it's less stupid, I would say. But bishop b2, it just feels like a beginner is playing. So yeah, I mean, technically it still holds, yeah, but it just makes you understand that basically the line gets much closer. Like with an engine, it's like both lines will be 0, 0, 0, but clearly when you play this kind of moves, it just, I mean, you just understanding is screaming. Like
something's wrong.
Everything. Yeah, exactly.
And yet there are people who do this with black, right?
Yeah, I mean, they do it voluntarily. Yeah, they could have played, for instance, if you get us back, they could have played just bishop b4, knight f3. Like with zero knowledge, for instance, I don't think I would even consider a3 in general. Like first of all, why a3 bishop a5? Like first of all, why a3 bishop a5 inclusion is in white's favor? And secondly, like bishop takes c3, castle, dc castles looks very interesting. Then d5 is coming. Black has a head and development, and why not to go knight f3, attack a pawn, develop a piece? Yeah, that's how you. I mean, also there are people who go like d3 here or whatever.
d3, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is strange,
probably,
yeah.
Should probably quit the game. Yeah, I mean sometimes when you start looking at it from this perspective, like they go d3 to play bishop d2 and then g4. Give me a break, yeah. It's I mean.
Yeah, but fair point. Like for Berlin, I wasn't sure. Like because from the childhood you were told that bishop b5, you play a6 and so on. And now looking at this position, Yeah, for people who are watching us in the chat, in fact, we are discussing Rui Lopez. Yeah, just to make it clear. Now, looking at this position, I really want to develop the knight from g1. Yeah, I really want to play knight f3. I don't want to think.
Yeah, of course.
I don't want to think. I want to develop the knight. So that's why Berlin defense is such a good, such a good opening.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Also, what we what we thought always is that actually Trumpovsky looks fantastic with colors reverse. Like imagine one d5, knight f3, bishop g4.
Let's do.
Like knight f3, d6, knight g1,
we need to lose a tempo,
yeah.
right? So once again, imagine black starts first, yeah.
Yeah, knight f3, bishop g4 looks simply fantastic to me.
From black side, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean it looks very reasonable. Yeah, it doesn't look like d5, c5 is better than d5, bishop g4.
Yeah. That's right, because you want the pawn on c6 very often. I mean, when you see the bishop on g4, you know, yeah, that's
but also, I mean, also you're almost attacking somehow. Yeah, some e3, e5 is there. Okay, it just becomes very interesting.
Yeah, but once again, you have so many systems which are combining d5 move and bishop g4 move, right? That you kind of recognize the patterns. Yeah, it should probably be very well for black, very good for black. And with white, Trumpovsky has, you know, the reputation, at least had the reputation of kind of sideline. Okay, maybe white's not worse, but no advantage whatsoever, kind of.
Yeah, but also I think at some point in the Rossolimo, somehow Magnus and me, we played some training blitz games, and somehow, like, I don't remember if it was on purpose or not, but somehow maybe I misclicked, or maybe this was our point, but somehow the game started 1 c3, e5, c4. I was white. And then we played this Rossolimo, and like, I cannot reveal the exact line, but at some point we got to the position where, like, I knew what my move is. Like, let's say I knew what my move is supposed to be. Like, it was something with g3, bishop takes c3, dc, and then
takes.
and then you play some ugly, like, I don't know, bishop g2, knight f3, castles, knight e1, and so on. And they just enjoy it. And I was like, I spent like 90 seconds, I was like, are we seriously going to play, like, whatever, knight e1 here or something? Like, are we doing this voluntarily? And he said, yeah, I cannot believe it as well. And the line was discarded as far as I remember.
Yeah, that's so funny. So that's, you see, that's a lesson from Daniil Dubov. Sometimes just, yeah.
No, but it's more of a lesson from Magnus. Yeah, basically, like, don't look at it from the engine point of view. Just look at it from human point of view.
But yeah, but you know, for younger people, first of all, they have to kind of develop this human. Still, I'm talking like pensioners things, but you know, develop human understanding at first point, because I believe, well, if not ready now, but in few years, we will have a generation of players who will be just trying to imitate computer. So remember as many moves as possible. Try to kind of calculate till the end, whatever the end is.
Yeah. No, that's true. It actually starts to happen. But in general, like, all the principles we were taught in the childhood are actually correct. I think, like, just develop the pieces, develop the pieces, develop the knights first and the bishops next. That's why the Berlin defense is better, for instance. Yeah, there's some like stupid openings. It's just that then you grow up and they start confusing you. They say, okay, you can play knight g7, not knight f6. It's also very interesting. Like, in terms of absolute values, let's say knight g7 is stupid in general, and knight f6 is a good move. Like, basically, what you were taught in
the bishop.
What you were taught in childhood is actually correct. It's just that chess is a draw. Like, you cannot mate with two knights on empty board, and that allows you to, like, play some stupid knight g2 e7, and maybe you're still not lost, but it's not a reason to play it.
Yeah. So
yeah.
So you're advocating kind of try to play the best moves all the time.
You know, I think in general the point is like, in the starting positions, the line is quite far. And then if you start playing bad moves, immediately you get way closer. Like, for instance, if you play the Karakan, it's clearly just bad in general. It's just a very bad idea. Like, okay, you go c6, d5, they go e5, you basically give up the center, you give up the space, and your knight cannot really develop to c6, and then you waste one more tempo sometimes to play c6 to c5. Like, it's clearly not a brilliant idea. So it basically just brings you way closer to the line, and then you pretty much have to play only moves. On the opposite side, like if you play some normal opening like Berlin or Queen's Gambit Declined or some Marshall or whatever, it's just very healthy. You like develop all the pieces, you don't give up the center for nothing, and that allows you to play like few more inaccurate moves before it becomes really about finding only moves. That's the thing.
Okay, I like the theory, I like where it's going, but how to tell when you are allowed and when you're not allowed to sacrifice material? Like, for instance, you've mentioned Marshall, right? Mm-hmm. And it kind of does line up with what we were told in childhood, right? So that you're fighting for initiative, and maybe you're fine with sacrificing a pawn for initiative for, I don't know, activity. But there are many openings where you'll try to do the same thing and it will not work. So for this you need calculation or what?
No, you don't need calculation. I think you just need to... This is actually a very nice question. Like, you're making it sound funny, but actually it took me like a few years to realize one thing, that basically to do it, you actually need to play very good moves from the very start. Because let's say at some point I was playing the Slav for quite a long period. And I would always, like, they would play 4 knight f3, e3. I would always play some bishop f5, e6, bishop g6. And then I would start to play for to somehow fight for initiative somehow. I would always try to mate them on king side or whatever. And it would never work. I couldn't really understand why, because it felt to me like, okay, I'm playing all the most ambitious moves. And it doesn't work. So it's not logical. Like, I sacrifice, but it looks normal. And then it actually took me a few years to actually realize I already made a mistake. And like, when you play the Slav and you go e3, bishop f5, you're already worse. And this means basically if you're already worse, then like playing in the most ambitious way will normally make it only worse. So it's basically, it's either you try to play like perfect chess and then you can allow, you can allow yourself to like play all the ambitious moves, or if you're slightly worse, you actually need to suffer somehow. And then you just give up to bishops or whatever, and basically, just wait. So this is how it works. Like, for instance, in some, I don't know, what's this, Sveshnikov, it works for black everywhere, like all the sharp lines. As you play all the most ambitious moves, okay, you go c5, let's assume it's kind of okay. Then you go knight c6, you develop a piece, you take cd, you go knight f6, develop a piece, attack e4, then you go e5, like fight for the center with the tempo and so on. Clearly it works for you. But once you play some like Rouser, for instance, then it becomes different. Like, you play some weird d6, you give up the center, like white is a bit ahead in development, so you're actually worse. And you should somehow just be less ambitious. Yeah, you just get this like a6, e6, you try to somehow bishop takes f6, g takes, okay, you try to stabilize and sort of prove you're not much worse. But if there you start playing in some very ambitious way, let's say after g takes you play, I don't know, bishop g7, f5 or whatever, it will never work. And it doesn't work because you're already worse.
So, guys, pay attention to the first moves you are making. Strangely, those are very important.
No, but it's really, it actually makes a lot of sense to me, at least, because like my chess career went completely different way when I realized it and I started playing well from move 1. And let's say, like, I know what my style is. Yeah, I know it's very natural for me to like sacrifice material for initiative and in general fight for initiative, and I don't like to be slightly worse and somehow suffering long games. I started to play the Grunfeld, for instance, instead of the Slav. And then, yeah, it's very natural. Okay, you go knight f6, g6, you go d5, attack the center, your bishop on g7 also is attacking the center. And then like you go c5, knight c6, you like attack the center in the most ambitious way, and then you continue like this and it works. But it's not that if you play, let's say, first King's Indian and then you go like e5, e takes d4, rook a8, c6, d5, there of course it doesn't work. Because if you wanted to attack the center, you should start from the very start. It's not that first you give up everything and then you're like, wait, I actually want to play a few ambitious moves. I mean, I understand my explanation is a bit of a mess, but in general, the point is that actually, yeah, the game starts from move 1. Like, it's not that you can play any kind of the opening that is not losing by force, and then you play game. It's not exactly like that. Like, the first moves you play actually mean a lot. Not only for the like objective evaluation, but also for the like measures that can be taken later on.
Yeah, so and you know, I thought it's actually a deep philosophical question, because how do we usually pick up the openings? I mean, in childhood, I've seen a nice game in whatever French defense, right? Botvinnik wins in French defense, and I think, okay, French defense must be good. Then later on, I developed some sort of a style, and then later on, I still play them French defense. But my style is completely different, right? For instance, and I'm trying to, let's say, first of all, play the opening moves that I know, and then proceed according to my style. But my style, I don't know, maybe dictates that I should be playing e5 or whatever, c5. And very often, people find themselves trapped like this.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Your style is basically like if it's black to move and they go 1 e5, you never play e3 with your style if you're out of book, right?
What's this? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, exactly. That's exactly my point. That's, I think, a problem of many players, especially young players. Like, you were taught by your first coach to play like whatever opening. It doesn't really matter which one, and then you basically continue just because you like it. And it's, I mean, clearly it's a nice concept to sort of defend your opening, but, I mean, sometimes you just need to play something that suits your style better.
Yeah, make sure the opening is good, right, and make sure it suits you, because sometimes, yeah, it would be a good opening, objectively kind of super correct and stuff, but you just can't play it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Like, I was taught, for instance, this is my story as well, because like I was taught to play the Slav very early, and still it cost me. Yeah, I mean, even against Chimera I almost lost. Yeah, I mean, now I'm 25, like I'm a very decent player. Still, sometimes I play it because I like it, and I play exactly this bishop f5, bishop g6, and still they basically show me that no, you shouldn't be doing this. Probably play the Grunfeld, you will be fine. So sometimes you just want to, but yeah.
Okay, Naka actually spent quite some time here after rook e1, kind of confirming on your theory that maybe black is running out of moves.
Yeah. Yeah, we should probably pay more attention to the game, but on the other hand, it's only one game, right?
I mean it's one game and nothing changed just yet, right? Okay,
Yeah,
maybe other thing that I want to ask is knight h7 to g5. I mean, maybe not in this position, but in similar positions. It's a common maneuver, right? When it's good, when it's bad.
I mean, again, when you are white, h3, knight h2, knight h4 is good. When you are black, it normally isn't good. It's
very easy. Very easy.
Yeah. No, but somehow it is sort of correct. I actually believe what I said. Like, if you go knight h7 here, I'm pretty sure white goes d4, d5, or just worse.
After knight g5, you go d5. And again, the fact that you have pawn on a5, pawn on d5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously with knight on h7 after d4, you don't really want to do... I mean, you don't want to, like, react to d4, because you just went knight h7.
Yeah. But also knight g5 is not, like, exactly big drama. Even if I ignore it, let's say I go knight g5, I don't know, g3 or whatever.
Even g3.
Yeah, like, the maneuver is probably completely fine, but My point is that it doesn't change much. Okay, you can take, or I will take on g5 next, but I mean, okay, you're still... All the problems remain. Yeah, it was your knight on g6 that was a problem, not f6.
Yeah. So in fact, the knight on g6 is not ideal, and I still cannot trade this knight. Yeah.
So also in terms of logic, it would be logical to go knight f8 to h7, right? To bring the other knight to g5.
This guy to h7
Yeah,
to
yeah.
g5, or go knight h7 and after d4 go knight h4 to trade this guy. Which might not be that bad, in fact. I mean, probably you still go d5 and claim to be better, right? And rightfully so. But yeah, like in the position where Naka is thinking, if black has a bad knight, one of the two, then it's a g6 knight.
Yeah. No, somehow that's exactly what I kind of described. Yeah, I mean, he played badly in the opening. I mean, okay, he didn't play ideal in the opening, and now it makes you sort of play some ugly moves, because like d5 most probably will not work when you start like this. Like in general, if you would play like all the good moves, d6 d5 would be a great idea.
Yeah,
but here now
takes.
Takes. Yeah.
Probably should take with the knight as well. At least try to take with the knight, and then d4, right? Sooner or later, somehow d4.
I think just knight c4 is very.
Knight c4 is also like having the pawn on a5, also pressing here. f6 obviously should be bad because of, I mean, d4, the knight on g6 is terrible.
Yeah, maybe you go knight c4, bishop g4, you don't resign somehow.
Bishop g4, you don't resign. And
but even h3, okay.
h3, yeah, I go h3 and what to do.
Yeah, you'll probably end up taking, yeah.
Yeah, so back to your argument that, Marshall-like moves, right? Because sometimes, I mean, you just move the bishop away, he captures e5, you'd have compensation, but not here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in Marshall, it would be that you go bishop h5 here, and then g4 doesn't work because you go some knight f4, queen d7, and it works. In general, if you do everything right, this should be.
This should be your answer, right? This should be your answer to this knight c4 thing.
Yeah.
And here we don't think it works. Okay, let's speculate a little bit. If this is a draw, what do you think of the potential tiebreak? Because people, of course, view Hikaru like he's very popular on Twitch, on YouTube, and kind of within general crowd. I understand like chess players have their own opinions and so on. So like let's say yesterday there was a voting pool on YouTube. I just found out, Jesse told me, and Hikaru was leading by a huge margin, like to win the match. I don't think before yesterday's game, which is more surprising because, like, say, if you'd ask me, I would still think that, like in classical at least, Aronian should be considered like slight favorite. Maybe I'm wrong. And yeah, but it was like 70-30 margin for Hikaru, which is I don't think reflects the situation. And then if we go to tiebreak, if we go to tiebreak.
First of all, in this matches, like if you have better chances to win the tiebreak, you have better chances to win the match. Like in general, even if you are a bit worse in classical chess, it's only one game with black to survive, and you have all the engines in the world to prepare. I mean, in general, it's kind of tough to lose on purpose. Sometimes it happens, but not that often. Yeah, I mean, normally it ends in a draw. The tiebreak, I don't know. It's hard to tell. I think it's very much about Levon. Like I would say maybe, I don't know, 220 days a year, Naka will probably win. But again, it's very much about Levon. Like Naka is very consistent rapid player, and he is actually very strong. And in Levon case, it's roller coaster. Like there will be some days when Naka will just crush him. Yeah, I mean he'll be blundering, and Naka will just take everything. And there will be no opposite scenario. Like you can only beat Hikaru by playing very well. I mean, I played him a lot. Yeah, we played this like knockout matches online in Rapid and so on. I just know that he's not kind of a guy who will just give it up. Yeah, I mean, you'll have to do everything yourself.
Except for the matches with Magnus, perhaps, but then Magnus plays indeed very good chess, right?
No, but also yeah, but it's not that Naka is blundering in those. No, I mean, it's just Magnus is a better player.
Yeah, agreed. But I mean, sometimes Magnus makes it look easy. Like he plays Nakamura, and like any other single human being that plays Naka, there is a feeling that the guy struggles even if he wins, right? With Magnus, sometimes he makes it look easy.
Yeah, okay, Magnus is probably a bit too good, but yeah. Also, I mean, I must say, with the way Levon plays here, if he will continue like this, he definitely has better chances, I would say. I mean, in general, I don't want it to sound like really strong, but I think in general, if we sort of define the strengths by playing on your best days, then of course Levon is a better chess player in general, is my feeling. Like, I don't want to...
And Naka is the most stable one, you want to say, right?
Yeah, so sort of. There is no disrespect here, but in general, I think if both have like a brilliant day, I think Levon is just much better player. No disrespect to Naka, I mean, he's just a brilliant player himself as well, and also you don't have too many brilliant days in general.
Yeah, that's the problem.
But here, yeah, but here it seemed that like Levon had quite a plenty actually. I mean, he was probably lucky with openings and so on, but still, I mean, you cannot argue the fact that he played very, very impressive, inspiring chess.
Yeah.
Starting from the group stage, actually.
Yeah, there have been quite a few impressive games in the group stage. Okay, D4 happened.
Yeah. So Queen C7 was played. Queen C7 is sort of a pass. But I think it's in general it's logical. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Okay, like if you started playing like this, okay, now we should keep suffering.
Yeah, and to some people it would be like, some might say, I don't see why it's so much suffering. Like, yeah, there'd be people who would say bishop d7, rook to d8, bishop back to c8, and I'm just waiting. Yeah, but objectively, of course, white's better in this case. Yeah.
Yeah, but also waiting is suffering. I think that's in general.
That's because you're young and impatient. Sometimes waiting is the most pleasant thing to do. Okay, not on the chessboard.
Yeah.
Not on the chessboard anyway.
That could be true.
Only question. What are we taking d4 with?
Not sure. He probably wants to take with the queen.
Because
like at least e4 is not hanging at least, yeah.
Yeah, and then c5 with queen on c7 looks even worse, right?
Yeah, okay, just go queen d2, knight takes c4, knight d5, yeah, it just works.
Even to d2, right? Takes...
Okay, wherever you want, but in general, the pawn is not hanging.
Yeah, yeah. The pawn is not hanging because the queen is under attack, yeah.
Yeah. Also, in the scenario you described, I would say, let's say you go bishop d7. I mean, let's imagine you allow me some blundering, but in general, I guess I will just play c4 one day. And then, like, let's imagine I'm not blundering, he takes d4, but then I will just play d5 maybe. And then some c5, bishop a4 will always be unpleasant.
Yeah. So takes, yeah, let's pretend that we take and yeah, somehow e4 is not lost. I think this c4, first time I've seen it, it was Anand Mamidyarov, I think, quite a few years back. And back then I've never seriously looked at this Gioco Piano, and I thought like you go c3, d4, and you always take with the pawn. Okay, that was my understanding. Like that's the whole point. And then you know, Vishy plays c4, takes with the piece, and I realized, yeah, that somehow it's such a good Kinzindian structure.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Once again, in wait. yeah, like d4, he actually does capture on d4, right?
Yeah.
He did take. Yeah, but something like that, bishop d7, c4, let's say takes, and you cannot take, let's agree, right? Then, yeah, then you have to have the pawn on a5 and white pawn on a2, right?
Yeah, and still it would be, I mean, f3, queen d2, rook d1.
Yeah, absolutely. No, but I mean, at least to have it like a proper King's Indian, you still have need a pawn on a5, not a6. I'm not saying that these positions are good in the King's Indian, but at least they are playable. Okay, e takes, queen takes.
Yeah, now he wants to play knight e5, I guess. That's actually what I thought is kind of reasonable.
Yeah, but can I just try to be... I mean, it's a little bit annoying to play such one. Once again, let's...
Maybe to h4, yeah, I also thought about it.
Ah, knight h4 could be. I was thinking to try to apply your logic. So if we assume that white only played good moves, what will be the solution? Rook to d1, knight f3, gf3, then win the d6 pawn?
Yeah, something like that, but yeah.
Like e to d1 so that a5 is not hanging.
Yeah, actually these two moves would be my first intentions, to be honest. That's at least, maybe I'm wrong, but that's at least the way I in general see chess logic, yeah. No, you're probably down to some d5, yeah, and you have to pray.
Yeah.
But okay, e takes d5.
Yeah, but that's kind of a pawn, yeah?
Yeah.
E d5, what, c takes?
Yeah, I don't even know.
Yeah, it's interesting that very often people are scared of those double pawns, yeah? But how many times, I can't think of how many times these are just nothing. Okay, double pawns, so what?
Yeah, but also here it's just lucky. I somehow realized, like from far away, I thought it's kind of acceptable for black. Now I just realized you don't really have moves again, yeah? Like bishop e6 runs into queen d6.
And yeah, the queen's forced to the bishop h3, probably also queen d6, yeah?
No, queen d6, rook e1 checks, that's why I wanted
yeah.
Bishop e6, but here we just have queen h5.
Ah, queen h5, and pushing it back, yeah.
Yeah, and then I'll go bishop e4, okay, then it's clearly
some good. Queen f4, I also have this move. I mean, I don't know. Maybe not only move, but the funny one, yeah, then the rook comes to the center as well.
Yeah.
So, interesting.
Yeah, this kind of makes sense. No, I mean, that's actually interesting to check. Yeah, I like knight h4 as well. But indeed, in terms of some like weird logic according by me, this rook e to d1 could be...
Yeah, just the most straightforward. I see this is a weakness on d6. Let's attack the weakness. Let's not waste any time.
Yeah.
C5 played by Nak. Okay, impressive.
Yeah, but he wants to play a different way, yeah? He just wants to play bishop e6 and wait like this.
Yeah, he won't, of course, take on e4 and lose after knight d5, yeah. So let's presume queen d2.
Yeah, and some bishop d7 or bishop e6. Bishop e6 I would say, but I don't know. Maybe bishop d7. Hard to tell.
Yeah.
But that's again, that is suffering, of course.
That is suffering. I mean, to such an extent that even like if I'm forced to play knight d5 one day, take with the pawn and it's still like space advantage. And again, bringing back the fact that the pawn is on a5. And I'm nowhere near forced to play knight d5 immediately. I can...
No, you can also just start like c4, rook d1. I mean, it's...
Yeah, so all in all, Levon does get somewhere.
Yeah. Or maybe not, or maybe we are... yeah.
You know, Levon gets somewhere by Jokopiano standards. It might still be a whole lot of nothing, but I mean, it's not very often that you manage to get such things from Jokopiano.
Yeah. Actually, knight takes d4 was very interesting, probably, but yeah.
e takes, knight takes. So that after knight takes e4, that'd be some tactic, right?
Some knight c4 maybe, but yeah.
Knight c4, and it's kind of a pin, and then knight b6, and then who knows?
Yeah, exactly. Like I just checked briefly with the weak engine, like after queen takes d4, it was saying black is completely fine. And I was like, wow, maybe we sort of miscalculated everything. But then I went, one move back again, and then it started to say knight takes d4 was actually good, and then was better. But queen takes d4, c5 was not the move according to my stupid engine. And it's actually stupid, it's not the strong one. It was saying some bishop g4 or whatever, anyway, or bishop e6, but...
Bishop g4...
Yeah, now that I look at it, I understand it's not completely pointless, but still it's... it's not a move you make normally.
Yeah, but once again, with pawn on a5, even I would think bishop g4 I just take and claim bishop is better than the knight, yeah?
Yeah.
It's not obvious, but I completely agree that to play bishop g4 so that white can take with the knight, it's not very usual.
No,
it's not very usual.
This can only be played online, but by very few people.
Yeah, but it's also interesting, bishop g4 can be played by someone who kind of, I want to say, doesn't understand chess or understands the position that deeply that he understands it's the only chance and everything else is bad, right?
Yeah.
And it's very often the case, so that you look at the move and you also need a name of the player who played the move to tell if the move is good or bad.
Yeah. So sometimes, I think I remember there was some game, between maybe Bronstein or Geller, probably Geller. I was very impressed with exactly the same King's Indian structure. Black would play a5, and Botvinnik simply reacted with a4, I think, or something. Or maybe Black played a4 and he played a2, a3, just to fix his weakness on c4. And the move was simply ridiculous, and I was like, wow, it's quite hard to believe. But it should be taken into account that this was probably one of the very first games in the King's Indian. So yeah.
Yeah, sometimes
no disrespect.
Yeah, sometimes they have to make mistakes so that we will not, right? Or they had to make mistakes.
Yeah.
These guys, they had to make, because yes, nowadays, of course, checking those old books, some things that are stated as a fact are sounding pretty naive nowadays.
Yeah, so sometimes it's even just exactly false. Yeah, it's also true. So what now? Oh, queen.
He apparently queen spotted some I don't know, some alternative to queen d2.
No, I think it's queen d1 actually. I start to kind of get his point a little. His point is that after queen d2, he's probably a bit worried about some knight e5.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to react somehow, yeah? You probably go knight h4, but you cannot, when knight h4 within 2 minutes, yeah? Then you
I don't know, and if I take and go knight e5, isn't this good? Knight d5?
Yeah, I would expect this to be good actually, but maybe he is not sure. Maybe he's right. Maybe just takes queen d6, bishop d7. Again,
but f4 is there.
I would think white is just much better. I think also in terms of strategic ideas, it's very important that the pawns on the queen side are exactly on a5 and a6.
Yeah, a5 exactly.
Even c4, b4 is also...
Yeah, absolutely. You can actually play it slow, because very often in such positions you look at them and why I'm, let's say, playing this f4 is sort of a reflex, right? I know playing slow, no good in this. I've taught by, I don't know, knight of structures and so on. But here, yeah, the fact that pawn is on a5, you can probably play c4 and rook b1 and b4 and maybe just win on the queen side alone.
No, but this is actually typical Najdorf with bishop e2, right? It's pretty much this Geller, Fischer, and so on. That's exactly the scenario.
Looks like
white got a5, white played knight d5, takes e d5, then black played knight c5, you take on c5, dc5. That's the one, yeah.
So perhaps queen d2 is fine. Or if you don't like, you can play queen d1 so that you have knight d2, right?
No, he goes to d2, of course.
He does go to d2.
Makes sense.
And now we'll see what Naka's planning, right? I don't think you play c5 and then start thinking.
So what do you think is more likely, like Levon wearing formal shirt or Naka wearing this colored shirt?
I think Naka does wear colorful shorts from time to time, not at the tournament, yeah, but... And Levon wearing formal short, it must be a wedding, or... I don't know, so something of that magnitude. I mean, not a chess game.
Yeah. Okay, queen d2, alright.
Queen d2.
So now, like, bishop d7 actually runs into knight c4 probably. He goes bishop g4.
Bishop g4 now.
This, I mean, again, this was one of the reasons I thought it could be that queen d1 makes sense. But to be fair, I only started thinking of queen d1 because Levon hadn't yet played queen d2 at that point, and I was like, okay, what could you think about here?
Yeah, that's always kind of the case. You think, okay, he spends time, that means there is something in the position, right?
Yeah, like there is an alternative at least, but yeah, here, yeah, I don't know.
One of the questions, oddly enough, would be how dangerous is bishop f3?
Yes, this was on my mind as well.
It's like if I go knight c4, for instance. I mean, I'm not sure if I want to play knight c4 because rook d8, let's say, and what do I achieve with knight c4? I'm not 100% certain. But what I wanted to state that, yeah, knight c4, bishop f3, gf3, I might not be all that afraid of.
Yeah, but this could be his point, yeah? He actually goes bishop g4 to just play rook d8. And then it's just a bit annoying that you should always consider this bishop takes f3.
Yeah, it's not like bishop f3 is a threat. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's always there, yeah. I mean, he wants you to... I mean, he probably doesn't know himself.
Yeah, and one day he might, right? Take f3, go knight h4, whatever.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
so you always have to remember about it, yeah, and he'll be teasing you. I might just go rook d8 if you force me. Maybe I'll go back to c8, just bring the rook in the center.
Yeah, but in general, I must say, it's very, very instructive how he handles this. Like, he knows his worth. He doesn't go for some, like, crazy d5s. And he basically starts, I mean, first he needs to develop the pieces at least somehow. Secondly, he knows that now that he is worse, it's actually okay to trade something. Let's say knight takes g4, like in general, white has a bishop, yeah, and it will be a nice bishop, it will probably get to b3 one day and so on. But normally, okay, when you are worse, you have to commit some decisions, yeah, and yeah, okay, you're worse, but at least you'll go knight f6 and you will not really have bad pieces anymore. White will be slightly better thanks to the bishop and stuff, but I mean, again, we're worse.
h3, you go to e5, yeah?
I guess I go to f6.
Oh,
I don't know, I would go to f6 at least. And then I just go rook a to d8 and I basically wait, maybe double on e5 on a good day, but... I mean, at least I don't have really bad pieces, yeah, okay, I'm worse, but it's not...
And it's also not clear what's white's kind of obvious way to progress is. in terms of pawn pushes. Like, I mean, in some positions it's clear, it's maybe hard to get, but you know, I don't know, I play before I win, or I'm much better. Here it's not that easy to say, like, do I want this pawn on f4, for instance?
I guess
maybe.
you want, I guess you want your knight on some different square.
Yeah, knight
I would say you go
to e3 or something, yeah?
G3 maybe, yeah, maybe
G3, yeah. G3, H4, King G2, maybe this, right? No? Or
no,
even
actually,
knight on G3,
no.
knight on G3.
Yeah. I thought maybe knight H2, knight F1, knight G3. And then we probably go rook D1, we start, I mean, some knight F5 will be there. But again, at least it's clearly decent scenario for black, yeah? I mean, it used to be way more sad. And now, I mean, okay, we just suffer against the bishop, but it's not such a big deal.
Yeah, on the other hand, after this exchange on G4 happens, it's not like black has a whole lot of plans in terms of like repairing the position, right? I mean, sometimes, again, you have the weakness on D6, you are dreaming of going D5 and make it completely equal, right? This is not such case. So he will have to suffer exactly as you've described, maybe for
but he's going for it. That's exactly the master. Yeah, you don't always need to be ambitious. You should always be ambitious when it works. So sort of. Now he knows he's worse. I mean, he knows D5 will not work. Yeah, I mean he should have played better before, but now he has to play the position he has, and he knows it's worse. And he knows he's not going to like calculate one time some D5 and make a draw. Like this moment has passed. He's clearly worse, and he will have to suffer, and he's kind of fine with it. He basically knows some immediate breakthrough will not work, and yeah, he starts just defending.
And would you say that this is part of kind of Naka's strength, identifying where to go for breaks, where to, let's say, keep it calm and maybe defend? Because what I've paid attention, I think I don't know if you'd agree, but I have such observation that he's actually a very good defender. Interestingly enough, he had this image of crazy attacking player back then. I don't know, 10 years ago maybe. But now he's actually not a bad defender, it seems.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure. Like, if you ask any top player, like everybody will scream that he's like by far the best defender, at least in like Rapid and Blitz. This is actually what makes him that strong in this. I mean, especially short time controls, because basically you cannot like really. I mean, you cannot really kill the guy. Yeah, you can be better, but he knows how to defend. He knows how to suffer. He never
blunders, more or less.
Yeah. Somehow his position never falls apart. Like whenever you win, like even if you are almost winning, it will like take a lot of good moves normally. And
that's because he's streaming. That's because he's streaming, and he has got advice from the chat. I brought it up a couple of days ago that there is like a funny meme, sort of, like when the guy is playing not chess but any other, I mean, computer game, right? And the chat is screaming, just don't lose. Basically, you win because you just don't lose, and then eventually you win. Preferably in the game with two results, right? So in chess there is also a draw, and that's what he's doing. Okay, the position is worse, it's getting worse, but he's not losing. I mean, he keeps somehow finding those moves that keep him afloat. And many guys, and there was example in this tournament, right? Yesipenko, who came that close in the last round and could have been in the semi-final, last round of round robin, right? And then Naka was still finding resources, and it ended up being a draw. Knight.
No, I think in general, I always felt like, I mean, I'm not really used to playing like all those top guys. I mean, I played them. I played some games, but it's not that I played them for years. Yeah, I mean, I can be mistaken, but also my feeling was that basically there are like two groups of these top players. In general, with two different kinds of like upsides. There are just people who are very difficult to outplay, but if you manage it, you will most probably win. But they're very difficult to outplay. And there is a completely different group of people who you can actually outplay pretty much like, I don't know, once in 2 games. But it's very difficult to win much better slash winning position against them. And these are like two completely different approaches. Like there are people who are, they will basically spend like all of their time not to be like even tiny worse against you. But if you're slightly better, then things will go your way most probably. And there are people who are like Naka, okay, he will just like play fast, he will not get to the time trouble, he'll just play fast, okay, you'll be better quite often, but it won't really affect his play, like he will not blunder, he will not let you win quickly, and then it's, yeah, I mean, sometimes you'll be really close, sometimes you'll just make like few inaccurate moves and he will equalize quickly, but yeah, I mean, he's fine with being worse sometimes. It's part of his strategy. He clearly doesn't care.
Yeah, and then there would be players like, I don't know, for some reason I thought of Wesley So on a good day, who would feel in both categories. I mean, first of all, try get a slight edge against Wesley So, and then even if you do, it's still tricky to beat him.
Yeah, but in general, Wesley, I would say, belongs to the first category.
Yeah. So
I mean,
he tries to keep balance. Yeah.
Yeah, he basically doesn't like to be worse, and he basically prefers to sort of spend time to like being worse with some extra
to figure
time.
out. Yeah. And for the second category, okay, Naka clearly example taken. Would you agree that Vishy Anand sometimes would do that? Okay, not that he necessarily goes for worse positions, but I had the feeling, like looking through his games, that quite a few people managed to get an advantage against Vishy, but rarely would beat him.
Yeah, probably. I don't think it's part of the approach, to be honest, but could be. No, I think first of all, clearly Firouzja. Like Firouzja, clearly he simply wants to win. He doesn't even care. He thinks he will win any kind of position. He just wants to have time. And,
yeah, maybe whenever I get a chance to interview Alireza Firouzja, maybe I should ask if he knows what evaluation means at all. Because he really just plays the position move by move, calculates stuff, yeah, finds ideas, and it's really impressive.
Yeah. Also, speaking of the second category, who else is there? Actually, Shah is probably there, I would say. Like against Shah, it's not a really big achievement to be like much better slash winning at some point of the game. The problem is that just you get checkmated.
Win the game
quite often.
Yes,
I mean
it's a little bit different type of disbalance, right? So with Naka, we were saying like he would accept worse positions sometimes, but defend relentlessly, and with Shah, it would be objectively worse, but you wouldn't tell because you're checkmated, right?
No, but with Shah, it's always, I mean, okay, you cannot, like, let's say in this position, you cannot, like, checkmate in 3 moves, yeah? You basically don't checkmate quickly. I mean, it's first that, I mean, first you need to defend, and then sometimes you get chances and you try to checkmate. It's also, like, when they say, like, all these stories about Tau, for instance, all these combinations, I mean, okay, combinations are easy, but bringing the pieces is the thing. Same with defense. Like first you need to defend well, and then sometimes you'll get chances to score.
Yeah, look what Aronian has done. He exchanged on g4 and then went queen d1. So he is planning to reroute the knight, but possibly via d2 and f1, or d2 c4. Who knows? Yeah.
Like my first impression is probably the same as yours. That it looks very artificial to me, but yeah, it could be.
Yeah, I can hardly understand why it's supposed to be better than say h3 or something. Wait a sec. Could it be that after h3 you actually do play knight e5? You actually do play knight e5.
Yeah, probably.
And knight c, I mean, originally I thought this, but then knight c4, stupid knight c4 works, and then he takes on a5.
Yeah, but that's actually, I mean, exactly what we were talking about. So let's say, yeah, I mean, I'm white, I play this game, and then this knight e5 happens. And I realized, okay, like if I played slow, I have nothing suddenly. Like black goes c4, then maybe even b5, maybe queen takes b6 or something. And I just think, okay, whatever, I was that much worse. I don't want to let it go. Okay, whatever, I'll go a4, I'll sacrifice a5. I'll try to attack somehow with queen d3. And that's how you get winning chances by defending well. Yeah, I mean, it took me only like 3 moves as white to basically go for some random. Okay, here you can even take on b2 and play c4 knight d3 if you want to equalize. But in general, that's how it happens. Like first you play 2-3 good defensive moves, then your opponent is annoyed by his advantage sort of slipping away, and he starts to gamble a little.
Yeah, and then if you are still, well, okay, I mean it depends on the position, but sometimes yeah, you still have to be defending well, you be precise, and you might win not even making any single active move, sort of, right? From certain point, yeah, and there've been examples like that.
Actually, now I feel like black is just fine. Maybe it's just lack of understanding, but I just don't see. I mean, I understand he wants 92 and so on, but somehow fail to believe it really. No, it's interesting what he will play. He has many moves. Rook e7 is reasonable.
To double on the e file, right? Not to play rook d8, because after queen d1 it's clear nothing will threaten d6 pawn for quite some time.
Yeah. At the same time, once you double on e file, bishop a4
bishop a4 is annoying. I also paid attention that bishop a4 is. A question, can we try to solve it in a radical way by going b5, possibly right now? I mean, how bad is it?
b5.
Yeah, like b5, like,
no, it's just funny is that it's funny is that the way you started this phrase, I thought d5 will come.
Yeah, d5, but the d5 I don't see. I mean, it would solve in a radical way if I'm to move and take on e5.
Okay,
still would not, right? But d5 kind of never works, yeah?
Why?
Takes, you want to take this and play what? Knight h4.
Knight h4.
Knight h4. So actually it kind of did work, yeah? Because queen e4, you'll take f3, you'll take h2 and go knight f7. Ah, it's a checkmate. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, he played b5, but actually d5 was kind of...
d5, queen d5, right?
Yeah, but then again, I have all the moves in the world, no? Like knight h4 and all the stuff.
d5, queen d... Oh, wait a second. So d5, queen takes d5. Knight h4.
Knight h4 or knight e5 was also interesting. But let's say I go here.
Yeah, knight h4 looks interesting indeed. h4, e5 maybe. Okay, maybe this is how I do it. I go e5, I take with the queen and play in the dumb better.
Yeah, this is why I thought maybe knight g2 e5. Yeah, that's why I mentioned it. I thought it's probably even smarter, yeah, to keep your bishop locked, sort of.
And if I take, rook takes.
Okay, at least you're scared, clearly, yes. Yeah?
I'm scared. I mean, I don't know if anyone else would be brave, but I'm scared. Queen d1, maybe this works. So now rook e4, I can take, yeah. Rook h.
Yeah, but I mean, it's again, I have like a billion of moves. Yeah, rook g5, knight takes h2 is there as well. I mean, like maybe it works, but at least it was very interesting.
I mean, knight h2, f4, rook g5, g3 might still be much better for white. Anyway, he played b5, the move that I briefly thought of. Queen takes b6, and then now you have to protect b2. You have to be careful not to run into c4 in some positions. Not clear where, but
actually going back to d5. Just one little thing. So, I mean, at least you can go h3.
With white, yeah.
Yeah, and then d takes c4 again. You can play rook takes, or you can even play h takes g4. Whatever. I mean, you take back on f3, you're still kind of better.
Same. a5 pawn. Very important. Very important.
Yeah, but Also b7 is weak, yeah?
Yeah, like in this position, I said a5 is very important. I thought, okay, you have a7, I have a2, still probably better for white because of the bishop. Yeah, but it all started with white having like this grip on the queen side with pawn being on a5. Okay, yeah. So queen takes b6. White is...
So this is probably a great understanding. Yes, that's why you go b5. Like, good or bad, you need to sort of trade those.
Knight, okay, knight goes to d2, knight e5 perhaps?
At the same time, actually, it's really difficult to kind of evaluate these positions, because like sometimes it's just that white plays rook a2, doubles on a files, and a6 is weak, d6
wins the
is weak, and you're done.
Yeah.
Or sometimes it's black playing knight e5, c4, I don't know, d5, b2 starts hanging, some tactical ideas.
Yeah, it's very hard to imagine black winning unless white blunders something, but indeed sometimes it's like easy equality, right?
Yeah.
So after knight d2, any fireworks? Not really.
Okay, so first of all, queen takes b2, yeah? I'm pretty sure it doesn't work, but let's...
Queen takes b2. Let's refute it, right? I mean, if it doesn't work, if it's not supposed to work, let's refute it.
Yeah.
And how do we refute it exactly? Knight c4, knight d6.
Okay,
no.
Queen takes c3.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure at all.
I mean, okay, at least if we are really scared, we can probably play knight c4, queen takes c3, knight b6. Like, I'm not saying white is necessarily better even after knight f6 or something. But at least I'll probably take an exchange. Like, I want knight d5 next, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Still there is some queen b2, yeah? It keeps being annoying,
yeah, I mean, it's sort of annoying. Knight d5, queen b2, and bishop a4 is impossible because f2 is hanging.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe it didn't work after all.
Strange.
Okay, queen takes b2 should not be...
We'll see. If it's possible, Naka for sure will take it. Okay, I have a question. How bad the alternative would look? If, let's say, queen b2 is not possible, black loses the queen. What else? g4 to e5, right?
Yeah. No, clearly this is the most likely... It's the most likely thing to happen, yeah? I don't think white blundered queen takes b2. Also, I don't think black's plan with b5 was based on queen takes b2.
Okay, if I go rook a2...
Yeah, then you normally... The way I see it, you just need to start the jumping. Like knight f4 and, I don't know, c4 first maybe, or...
Yeah, maybe
c4 first.
Maybe c4 first, yeah, and then intending knight f4 and so on. Or maybe...
Yeah, but it's annoying. After c4, I don't like g3. After knight f4 first...
Maybe knight f4 like first, g3, knight d3...
Yeah, but then... Yeah, but then takes on knight c4, we're not in time.
Yeah. Takes and knight c4, and this is the problem. All right, so time for Nakamura to decide. Yeah, I wish queen b2 was possible.
Yeah, also actually, it's not that there is a billion of moves, right?
For black.
There is no knight. Yeah, like knight c4 is also a threat. It's basically you only have two. Like if you play knight g6, to e5, then I feel like h3 is just crushing. Like just h3, knight f6, f4, you push the knight, you go knight c4 and basically win.
So it's either knight 4 to e5 because f4 is not yet possible, or God forbid, black's gonna take on b2.
Yeah, also now that I think about it, knight e5 is not a... I mean, rook a2 is a perfectly decent move, but there is even g3 maybe, no?
Yeah, if there is... We can argue it this way. If there is a reason why black cannot take on b2, it must be valid after g3 and you take and I go f4 and
I mean, not necessarily, but yeah, but at least it kind of makes sense.
It's kind of f4, where the knight's going. I mean, because it also runs into some bishop a4s.
Yeah, and moreover, it runs into bishop a4 anyway, right?
Knight d7,
I mean, you
bishop
basically have, yeah.
like bishop a4. I was thinking even if I protect, I mean, rook e3, I don't like it as the move, but the idea kind of, by the way, f4 knight g4 is what the silly annotating thing does here. It's like I have a text in play chess, and then whenever I make a move, it would pop up. I mean, I don't know how deep that is. It's just that, you know, automatically generated nodes to what I'm doing. And then it says knight g4 exclamation mark keeps the balance. I don't know.
Yes, this could be. But the balance is like zeros, right? It's not like -1.
I hope so. It says in words keeps the balance. So it's not like
like this, yeah.
It's not even the idea. That's what I'm saying. It's kind of automatically generated annotations. It's not the engine running at the background. So I have no clue whatsoever how deep it is. Maybe it's like depth 12 or something.
So he's basically just saying, okay, not bad, yeah.
Yeah, it says, yeah. Like I would say, okay, this looks decent.
Yeah.
All right.
It's actually very sad that they, like, for the moment, they failed to come up with this kind of an engine. Yes, that would give you some. I mean, it shouldn't be too difficult, basically, to come up with an engine that gives you some short explanations as well. Like h3 because I like it, whatever.
Yeah.
Or some g3, I don't know why exactly. Or some knight f4 because, like, in 20 moves we win, it seems.
Yeah, or even like engine's evaluation, which we know the evaluation function, it consists of what? Material, some, don't know, piece activity stuff, king safety stuff, and so on, right? Pawn structures.
Open files, whatever.
Or a lot of things, piece mobility, right? And I believe in the chat there'll be chess engine experts who would correct me. So I thought, let's generate kind of a text explanation so that white has plus 1.5 because he has an extra pawn, a pair of bishops, and control over the file.
Yeah. No, this would just be nice. Like now they have this, like, for lonely people, yes, they have the systems like smart house or whatever that can even talk to you if you want. Like, how do you feel? Oh, okay, I feel great now. It's not necessarily for lonely people, actually. Like,
why would you only limit this to lonely people? Sometimes you just need someone to talk to.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it doesn't mean if there is no one else to talk, you're lonely. Yeah, not necessarily. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, Queen takes b2. It's very much about Queen takes b2. Actually, I start to feel.
Yeah, I agree. Like 95, White will have options. Queen b2, White will have to prove that he has enough. Yeah.
Also, it's quite like that after Queen takes b2, we're just blundering in one, or White just wins.
Could be, yeah.
At the same time, if this would be the case, knight g to e5 would have been played.
So yeah,
like at least, yeah.
By that point, if it would be really like one move, two moves, and the queen's trapped, Naka would not spend 5 minutes because by elimination process, you just okay, if the pawn untouchable, I'm going 95.
Yeah. So what's wrong with that? But of course, for black, it's also a very tricky spot. You almost want this actually to be losing by force quickly, and then you just go 95. You don't spend time. Okay, I mean, I do what I gotta do. And then if Queen takes b2, it doesn't lose immediately. Then it's a weird spot. It's clear that it's very dangerous. Like you need to calculate a lot of stuff. And like in 20 minutes, you can realize it actually didn't work as end.
Yeah, that's I completely agree. Like from practical standpoint, like imagine you spend 20-25 minutes and you're still unsure. Like you don't see how it is refuted, but you see a couple of very dangerous positions ahead of you, and you'll be with 10 minutes in a dangerous position and still kind of 17 moves away from the time control mark.
Yeah. Meanwhile, it's only move 22 actually.
Yeah.
Naka is down to 35 minutes. So this is actually an important factor from now on. Like, if he cannot think here like there is no tomorrow. Yeah, don't know. At the same time, it's very tempting, of course, to calculate queen takes b2, make it work, and then you force a draw somehow.
Yeah. Can white force a draw then? Let's come up with modest tasks. Can white just force a draw?
Okay, white is not worse, I think, simply.
Yeah, maybe we can just put it this way. So that white's not worse, and that's it.
Yeah.
I was thinking of some funny bishop b3 move, for instance, but it's probably not very smart. Funny because, I mean, just for chat, I wanted to show that this apparently wins. But yeah, but nobody forces this queen to capture on c3, right?
Actually, on this line, I go d5 and then, yeah, let's go back. It was actually interesting.
d5.
No, sorry, I go c4 first, of course, and then I go d5.
Ah, you mean c4, d5, win the piece back, or
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, queen d6, rook d8. Yeah.
Queen d6, rook d8, and only a pawn down then, or you wanna be greedy and play other rook to d8 maybe.
Probably, but even if I go rook a to d8, it's quite.
Yeah, it's a draw. Yeah, I agree that this 4 versus 3 should be like an easy draw. So even this doesn't work. Wait, what? Ah, no, just some, it was showing some line that I thought. Okay, how about rook c1, by the way? You attack my bishop, I protect my bishop. And then after knight e5, no, wait, I don't have a 4, but then it's stupid.
No, you don't, yes, that's a problem.
I don't have a 4.
And somehow you don't even have g3, like even having g3 would have been acceptable.
This, knight e5, g3.
Yeah, g3, queen takes c3 is there.
Yeah,
you like,
take,
I would be,
and then you take, and you take everything, yeah.
Like, I would be satisfied already with actually sacrificing b2 for just playing some g3 f4.
G3 f4, yeah, chase the knights away, because after all, yeah, black's extra pawn is the pawn on a6, which is not yet threatening all that much.
Yeah, but the problem is that
even this I cannot really do. Yeah. Even this I cannot really do.
He's about to play a move actually. Okay.
Let's see.
I guess he wants to take.
Oops.
This is actually again, yeah. I mean, if it works and he plays it, if this whole thing won't happen, then like ignore me. But like if he'll do all the stuff, this is actually a very good example of how you should defend exactly. Yeah, like first you need to be patient. You play all this like queen c7, whatever, bishop g4 nonsense. You know you're slightly worse. You need to like survive like I don't know 5 to 7 moves, and then once you feel that this like queen d2, knight takes g4, queen d1 was artificial, you feel like this is your moment actually to sort of
yeah, so not to suffer for the sake of suffering, right? I mean, when there is a moment, you play b5. When there is a moment, you just spend time, calculate, take the pawn, which looks dangerous to take, but if it's queen takes b2 on the board.
Yeah, but at the same time, when it's not yet a moment, you don't play d5 in the opening and so on. Yeah, so you know when to suffer and when to go ambitious. It would be funny though if queen takes b2 is losing by force, and we're like, okay, very well played, but tough luck.
Or could it be even funnier if it will turn out that Aronian has no specific plan after queen b2?
this could be, knowing Aronian, this could be true. This is typical me as well, like I mean, it's a bit of a mix of the intuition and frustration. Like, you feel like, okay, I probably misplayed it a little. If I don't go knight d2, it shouldn't be much better for me if better at all, to be honest. Okay, let's try knight d2,
Let's
this queen takes
go.
b2. Yeah, I mean, it looks dangerous. It's also clear it cannot be too bad. Yeah, I mean, okay, if I want dramatically to make a draw here as white, I will probably find it. And maybe he will not take on b2. He's down to 35 minutes. Let's let him calculate. Okay, if it works, it works. I will find the draw somehow. Now,
Yeah.
so we got to the point where, okay, so where is our draw now?
I think we got to the point when Aronian's gonna be thinking, and it's almost 2 hours into the broadcast, so I thought maybe I could ask for like a little pause. But before that, I have to make it clear. So you said that Daniil said that you only have like a couple of hours, right? Or yeah, I mean just to make it clear.
I think I actually have one more. Like, I cannot promise you more than an hour, but I think an hour I can. So why not?
Well, that would be amazing, because why I'm asking, there've been quite a few questions on Twitter and so on, you know, and some of them make sense. Let me put it this way: not all of them make sense, but some of them perhaps make sense. And
those should be ignored completely.
yeah, those which make sense.
Yeah.
Of course, we'll ignore them. Yeah, but this will happen after a short break. So that's once again a reminder that's game 2 of the final, and I believe, yeah, without the help of an engine, we are unable to tell what's the variation of the current position is. Okay, so stay tuned. We'll be back shortly after a quick break. So I was actually planning for a longer break, but yeah, that would be, kind of unfortunate because the game is about to end, if not ended already.
Yeah, I think it's just one more rook a1 too.
So the mystery revealed. Hopefully, we'll be able to show what was Nakamura planning. Or rather, what was Aronian planning after queen takes b2, and it happens to be nothing special, right?
Yeah. And it's a draw. Yeah.
Looks like pretty forcing draw.
Yeah. In general, very, very impressive defense by Naka. Like, he was clearly outplayed / outprepared in the opening, but yeah, he handled it very, very well.
Yeah, and if we were to criticize a bit Aronian's play, so I would, it's funny because I would suspect two things. I mean, after move c5, maybe queen d1. It sounds, it looks artificial, right? But maybe queen d1 should have been preferred over queen d2. And when the queen was already on d2, kind of 2 moves later, then queen d1 looks strange.
Yeah. No, I mean, also we should be humans, not engines. Yeah, I mean, like with an engine, you can also criticize queen takes d4, as far as I know. But again, like in terms of human play, first of all, he was still better with like rook a2 or b3 instead of knight d2. It was still a game of chess. Like maybe it's not much, but like an engine, I think white is actually better still. Like there is some pressure
after queen b6. It's definitely,
yeah, I mean, it definitely gives you better chances than forcing a draw. Yeah, so it's he kind of gambled and it didn't work, but he was slightly better, and there was actually no need to gamble. Maybe slightly better, sorry. But yeah, all in all, it's it's chess nowadays. Yeah, you're slightly better, you play 1 or 2 inaccurate moves, and it disappears immediately.
Right. So while they are getting ready for an interview with the press officer, honestly, I didn't have the time to check all the. I mean, perhaps the most important question to ask Daniil Dubov. You know what? Have you checked the Twitter, Daniil, or you're not on Twitter?
No. I'm not on Twitter.
The most, I mean, which the question which really bothers people: is it Coke or Sprite for you?
Wow, that's,
I mean,
that's a big one. No, it's actually Sprite.
See, people. I mean, those of you who voted Coke were wrong. I mean, there've been quite a few serious questions. One of them, like 27 plus, for some reason, specifically 27 plus players who you kind of keep good relationship or friends. This kind of thing. I don't know
just
why.
Mention them, even.
I don't know.
Does it only require mentioning them or what? No, I'm clearly good friends with Boris still. I'm good friends with Maxim Matlakov, Sasha Ryazantsev. Yeah, somehow I just realized somehow people lose this 2700.
Yeah. So maybe that's why
after they start working with me and so on. No, I think with Peter Svidler again we are. Sasha Grishuk. I mean, again, there is no revolution there. There is also 2800 guys that I'm like good relationships with as well. So yeah, it's nothing.
Now I keep guessing who possibly this could be.
Yeah.
It's such a variety of choices out of this 28 plus chess players. There's such a bunch.
Yeah, that is true. But in general, no revolutions there. Basically, I am on more or less good terms with all the Russians, clearly, and yeah.
And apparently the interview is still going, right? So shall we try to get the audio on, or it might be not an interview. I mean, I don't know what's going on there. They're clearly talking something.
Yeah.
On my part, I have to say they will have a tie-break playoff tomorrow. So those of you who kind of had not enough chess during this tournament, you'll have a chance to. We will have a chance to fix this. So tomorrow, as the minimum, we are guaranteed 2 rapid games, 15 minutes plus 10 seconds. If tied, 2 blitz games. If tied, 1 more blitz game with some odds, right?
Is it? I thought actually this time they play this series of 2, no?
No,
Or maybe not.
I thought it's 5 games. No, you were supposed to know the rules better. You're one of the participants.
Yeah, but I thought, okay, once I get to the chaos stage, I'll probably...
yeah, but that's how it works.
I'll probably check it out, but...
Yeah, that's how it works. I don't know, why is that, but I can confirm myself. The chess players, they turn to, I don't know, maybe kind of try to save some memory up, right? But before you go to the tiebreak, you basically don't bother to check the tiebreak rules.
Yeah. Let's actually finish with a funny story. Do you have this? Do you have the games from the group stage? If you can open, if you cannot, then it's
no.
a long way.
No, it's.
Okay,
I mean,
then
I could, but it's a really long way. And once
yeah. Okay, then it's.
We could be.
Anyway, so the story is that basically when I played Aronian in the last round, like it was funny that at some point. Okay, we repeated. I decided to claim 3-fold, and the 3-fold was like I played rook 8 to b8, then to 8, then to b8, and so on. And then it's as the 3rd time, I claim a draw. I mean, I have the move. The score sheet, everything feels right, and the referee came and he said, "Yes, sure, it's a draw." And then Sasha Grishuk was passing by. And he joined the conversation and said, actually, no, this is not a draw yet.
You're breaking the rules. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you moved the rook, so now, like, the second time, castling long was not an option anymore, and it's a different position. And, the referee was really confused. But so, yeah, we had to repeat few more times, yeah.
Yeah, but that's funny. So the exact rules sound like, so all the options, kind of all the moves on this move or potentially should be available. So if it's en passant was possible at the very beginning, like let's say you go, don't know, c7, c5, I have a pawn on d5, and then we repeat with some pieces, then we kind of have to repeat one extra time perhaps, right? Yeah, but that's a nice thing when players know rules better than the arbiters.
Always. Yeah, but this is pretty much always, I think, yeah, to be honest. I mean, at least I've never seen the opposite. It probably exists, but yeah, not really. But I thought it's a really cool trap for some blitz game, right? Like you just repeat 3 times with a smart face. He offers a draw, you say no. He claims then. You get your extra minute and then you deviate.
Yeah, that's what's going on.
Drawing of colors for tomorrow, I would guess.
Yeah, but it just why it confused me a bit because.
So first rapid game at 3 p.m. tomorrow. Game is the Nakamura versus Mr. Aronian. Then they switch the colors and continue the second rapid games. If it's not decided after rapid games, we continue with blitz. But fortunately, or for everyone, tomorrow we finish Grand Prix.
Okay, jolly to know.
It's nice. It's nice to see someone loving his jobs that much, I must say.
Okay, so now we will have to listen to Dina interviewing Aronian. Or we will not, I don't know.
3 p.m. tomorrow, game is the Nakamura versus Mr. Aronian. Then they switch the colors and continue the second rapid games. If it's not decided after rapid games, we continue with blitz. But fortunately, or for everyone, tomorrow we finish Grand Prix.
Levon, let me begin with the most important question, obviously. How did you spend your Valentine's Day?
I think it was, we kind of postponed the Valentine's Day. We made the decision, you know, chess comes first. So, yeah. So I spent the Valentine's Day in a romantic atmosphere of my room, analyzing chess. So,
And preparing for an important opponent.
yes.
In the Sinfield Cup 2018 it was, you once said, just after beating Sasha Grishuk, that you have played a gangster chess. My question to you was, could we call you yesterday's draw offer after e2 check that type of a gangster offer?
No, I didn't offer it after e2. I offered it after queen a7. And it was kind of, I saw that it's a draw, and I wanted Hikaru to think even longer, and maybe perhaps try to find a win for him, which would end up to be a win for me. So it was a strategical offer.
Right, a psychological attack to your opponent.
Yes.
They say Aronian always resigns with a smile. Still, have you ever had an inappropriate reaction after a painful loss?
I love the game of chess, but, I always remember that life is a suffering. When you're not suffering, you should be grateful. So, if I'm well enough and I'm playing chess, it means I'm doing great, so I appreciate that. So, I do, get angry when I lose. But I never get angry at my opponents. Never. I never got angry at my opponent unless they do something unethical. But for playing well, no. I only clap and say thank you for a lesson.
That's a very nice philosophy indeed. I was wondering, did you ever happen to have a dinner with someone you just beat or who just beat you? After the game?
Zillion times. I had it with Gelfand, I had it with Fabiano, I think with MVL, probably with Kramnik. Kramnik, not so sure, but probably. I guess with all of my friends. Because I think most of us share the same philosophy, that chess is a site and friendship is a site.
All right, Leon, tomorrow is an important day, so hopefully whatever happens, it's going to be a very exciting one.
Yes, well, we're here to excite ourselves and the public, so let's see how it goes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so that was unexpectedly quite a short day in the office. Daniil, are you still here with me?
Yes, I am. For the moment, I am, yes.
So thanks very much for joining. And okay, there've been quite a few other questions on Twitter, but let's just skip those. The most important was answered. It's obviously Sprite, right? May I ask you, what leg do you play? Do you play the second one or the third one?
I think I played the third one. I play in Berlin again.
So,
Which actually is nice, probably. I just realized, so these guys will probably have to, like, if at least one of them plays in Belgrade, they'll have to go straight from Berlin, yeah? Most probably. I think it just starts in like less than a week or something. So I just realized in general, like I had to go to Wijk, and then because of all this like COVID stuff, I had to go straight from there. So yeah. Anyway, we'll have the interview with Nakamura, I think, in like 5 or 10 seconds.
yeah.
Which is more important?
Game, could you describe how do you usually prepare for such a game, such a match when it's a knockout event and you have one opponent only with both colors?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot depends on what color you start with in the match. Obviously, if you start with white and you win, it's very good. If you draw, it's bad. I mean, it just hinges on the color mainly. But, you know, I think the big difference now between before is that I just don't really worry about things. And I think this game is a good example because Levon, I mean, he thought that he was better, or maybe much better. I basically just thought, well, I mean, either I'm completely fine or I'm going to lose the game. And when you have such an attitude, I mean, it's very easy. You just try to play moves. You don't worry about some threat. You don't worry about the threats. You just try to find good moves, and that makes it, I mean, just very simple. So, I mean, like now is much different than before for sure in terms of preparation. Because in the past, I would definitely, you know, you worry about losing a second game with black and the world ending. Now, I mean, it doesn't matter.
Right, so tomorrow is a tie break. You have recently made a lot of tricks with speed runs to 3000, where you played only gambits, some very tricky openings. So I had this question: could it be so that all those different approaches that you had might help you to have some tricky ideas to come up with the blitz tiebreaker tomorrow? And obviously, you didn't have to share all the secrets.
I mean, I really don't know. I think depends what sort of mood I'm in tomorrow as far as how I play. I mean, as I've said before, obviously I've exceeded my expectations, and I mean, not losing a classical game, I mean, is very nice. So I don't know what I'll do tomorrow, but I mean, I'm pretty sure I won't hang a queen or anything like that.
Otherwise, it would be yet another Botez gambit, right?
Something like that, yeah. Something along those lines.
There are these players, Sevian, Niemann, and Liang. They are young and strong. They're rated between 26 and 27. Which one of them do you expect to be the next to join you guys in the Team US?
Okay, that's I mean, that's a very loaded kind of question. I think what I would say is that for all of them, it's going to require a lot of luck. They're going to have a few opportunities here or there and have to perform very well. I mean, obviously Hans is probably, I mean, the strongest at the moment. I mean, did you say Liam or Jean? Which one did you say?
Yeah.
Liam.
Yeah.
Okay, because to me, I think Jeffrey actually is, I mean, quite a bit stronger potentially. So Jeffrey Zhang, I think, and Hans Niemann have the biggest upside. Again, I mean, when you look at where, I mean, the top players are near 2750, I mean, it's very tough. There's a very, very big difference between 2700 and 2750, so it's going to be tough for any of them. But I think they'll have some opportunities, and hopefully one of them breaks through.
Yeah, I didn't mention Jeffrey because he has already crossed 27, but yeah, I meant Lavender. So you think Jeffrey is going to be...
Well, but I mean, Liam is like, you mean Laquan, right? But
yeah.
I mean, he's like, isn't he? Maybe I'm crazy, but isn't he like 28 or something? Maybe I'm wrong. I think he's not exactly young. He's not a junior, that's for sure.
Okay, Lavender then.
Oh, not Liang. You mean Liang?
Yeah,
okay, so
yeah,
sorry.
sorry,
Okay,
yeah.
another one. Yeah, I mean, I think what I said before. I mean, getting to all the different levels is very tough. Getting to like 2600 is hard. 2650 is hard. 27 is extremely hard. 2750 is, I mean, borderline impossible in most cases. So, I mean, none of them are getting any younger, but probably Hans or Jeff are the two who have the best chance overall.
Right, and perhaps the last question for today. Now that you reach the finals and your next stage is going to be again in Berlin, have you already made up your mind either you're staying here in Germany or you're going to make the roundabout trip?
I mean, I think that's what, like a month away or something. First of all, no, I mean obviously I'm going home. I have a real job to do for the next month, so I'll go back and I'll come back to Germany for the tournament.
The real job.
Yeah, I mean one of the jobs, yes.
All right, perfect. Thank you, and hope you have a great rest because tomorrow is an important day.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so don't have that much to add to this. Hikaru will go back to the United States to do the real job. That's what he said himself.
Yeah, I just feel like I should retire as well, yeah? It only has upsides. Like, you keep working on chess, you do like all the same stuff, you only say I don't care anymore.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like you basically commit exactly nothing, yeah? You only have an excuse for everything, it's just a free roll.
It's a comfortable thing to do, yeah.
Like, you can still work 8 hours a day, it's just that you're retired.
Yeah, and it wouldn't feel like a real work because you're retired, so that becomes kind of a hobby.
Yeah. It's even more pleasant thing to do. Yeah, my hobby is to leave an engine running and drink tea. Yeah, that's my hobby.
All right, thank you very much, Daniil. Really enjoyed this. Was like a couple of hours talking about chess and other stuff, chess philosophy and so on and so on.
Yeah, thank you too. Always a pleasure.
So once again, thanks very much. Daniil, of course, has what it was a real job to do, but our show will be back tomorrow. Yeah, our show will be back tomorrow, same time, 3 p.m. Berlin time, and then adjust to your time zone accordingly. Before I sign off, once again, my duty and great pleasure to remind you the names of the companies that supported the Grand Prix cycle. It's Kaspersky, cybersecurity partner, Algorand, the blockchain partner, and FIDE Online Arena as official gaming zone. So that will be it, and tomorrow I will be back with my usual co-host Jesse February, so do not miss this one. Thank you very much.